Hey guys, it's Nina here, and it's been a little bit, and I just wanted to kind of catch you up and continue the path of videos. And I've been really wanting to connect with you guys so much. Usually, whenever there's something important to my heart, I'm like, I gotta hurry up and make a video. I gotta connect. I gotta get it out of me because that's the purpose of what God puts in us, for us to get it out of us. And I wrote it down today because I've been trying some different techniques that I've learned from, colleagues of mine and friends, and just feedback, because I do take that seriously. And whether you've subscribed or commented or even just sent me a personal email, I have taken, those things in consideration, whether it's, my time and everything. So if you see me looking away at the paper, please forgive me. This is new for me. It's like my fourth or fifth video. But I'm so passionate about connecting with you guys, and I just wanted to follow up with you on what I have. And it's really honestly an excerpt from a book that I'm writing. The book is titled, I'm not going to release yet, but God has given it to me already, and I've already started working on it. And it's coming really great together, a great piece of work and art, body of art. But I wanted to talk to you because I'm a sucker for romance. And I'm always posting something on my Facebook page, or, connecting with girlfriends and having laughing it up moments about we're all the good men. We're all the good men. And a lot of times, even like I follow Dr. Farrah Gray and Tony A. Gaskins, and I love those two. I mean, they are such awesome, helps when it comes to encouragement and stuff like that. And I love poetry and sappy stuff, all things romance. That's just me. And that's a lot of us as women, and even some men. But I noticed that, I see a lot of that on Facebook, and I have done it as well quite a bit. And a lot of times when we get together, we might say stuff like, we're all the good men. Either they're taken, either they're, in jail, or they got a bunch of baby mamas and we don't want to deal with it, or they're married and or they don't date sisters, or we don't want to date out of our own race because we're afraid of what people are going to think of us, or they're on the down low or on the low down. So either they may not be faithful, don't understand what romance or true commitment is, or either they may prefer men but haven't completely come to terms with that yet, whether it's their faith or whatever it may be. So a lot of times we kind of say there are no good men out there, the caliber of men, they're just not out there. And it just kind of kept hitting me. And I went through my own, and I'm still fresh kind of in it, my own breakup. And it was really kind of like painful but freeing. And I took the opportunity to kind of assess me, because so many times as women, we are so quick to kind of point the finger and blame the man, but we don't always take an account of what we either do to contribute to the breakdown of the relationship, or we might be too hard on ourselves, or what we assess may not even have anything to do with the truth, the core of the matter. And so I just kept thinking, and I had been in the kitchen and cleaning up and everything like that, and a scripture came to me, and I was just like, God, what in the world does that have to do with, relationships and men and women? I just didn't understand that, and it just kept really heavy on me. And I don't know what your faith is, and it's not my job to kind of, condemn or judge in that aspect. All I can do is be me and candidly express who I am as a believer of God, and whatever floats your boat. But this is something that was really true to most men and women. And when the scripture came to me, I didn't understand it. And I had clarity, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Luke 10:2, and you can go into it further if you want to on your own time. But it was just saying how the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And I was like, the harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. Say what? Okay. So I didn't understand what that had to do with anything. And I just, told you I kept reflecting. And as I was cleaning the kitchen and I had more understanding and more insight, I started to see how the two connected. Women, we're considered helpmeets. And if you look up what the definition of a helpmeet is, in essence, it's a laborer. And there is God's plan, which is really the harvest of it all anyway. And so it started to just kind of come together, because as you know, you might read a book and get a different interpretation. Someone else read it and get something different. To each his own. But this is what it really weighed in on in my heart. And I just was like, I got to get this out. It's amazing. The purpose of marriage was so that God could establish a holy bloodline throughout the land, to steward it, to nurture it, to care for it, and to show forth his glory, which in essence is his nature. His kabod, his weight, who he is, his identity, his expressions, just all of that. Just like when you look at the sun and moon, and it might amaze you how the small light can just stay in the middle of the atmosphere, and by the nature and law of gravity, it rests and light up and be seen amongst all the land, all the nations, just stuff like that, just blowing your mind. That's what it was supposed to be. We were supposed to carry out God's plan, which was in essence, it would blow out the competition, or blow people's minds, or show them who he is. And so you had the order of the man who was submitted to God, and then the woman who would be submitted to her husband, and then they would then steward and order their family and household, instruct that, and then go out and impact the world and other households and other lands and other nations and other people. And a woman's unique identity was to be the heartbeat of the life of everything that was coming to pass, because the man carried the vision, in his spirit, by instruction, by understanding, and then he would share it in communal time with his wife, and then with her unique calling, then she would be like, okay, I get that. Let's do this, and then it will bring it to pass. And if you look at your life and you see, we really are as women supposed to be laborers. But laborers, in the essence of it, is a woman of integrity. When you think of doing work for God, it's supposed to have a certain feel. It's supposed to have a certain characteristic, a certain label, a certain trademark over it, which would represent his glory. So your life should possess that. And so I was like, wow, God, right now you in my stuff, because it made me realize I'm not in a position to be a wife. And a lot of times we get so angry with men not being ready. And in reality, I do believe in the spirit realm, meaning those seeds and how God ordained it and his mindset about it is really in position. But there's still so much more that has to come out of us so that can be released and manifested in the natural realm and atmosphere. And I was like, okay, well, what can hinder that up? And it's like, okay, looking at my life right now, I saw why I wasn't ready. Any investor will tell you there's a thing as asset and a liability. Asset yields return. Asset yields benefit. A liability costs you something, but an asset brings something. And as a woman, if you're an asset, then you're ready to bring something, and then God can truly use you in the place of that man's life. But if you can honestly reflect and think over your life, and you know that you're in debt, I made a list, okay, so don't be mad at me. If you're in debt, overweight or unhealthy, insecure, too needy, too independent, can't cook, can't clean, don't want to submit, like if the words honor and obey make you cringe, you might want to really reflect on, are you an asset or a liability? You have poor hygiene, not because of you really don't have nowhere to wash your tail, but because you're not motivated. You don't really see anything wrong with what you're doing. You don't have a vision. You aren't sweet, meaning you're bitter. You're rude. You aren't humble. You can't take correction or criticism. You're jealous. So sometimes if he has a friend girl or somebody comes in the presence and you're snarling, if you're backbiting, if you gossip with your girlfriends, that's a clear indication when you and him have problems, what you're going to do? You're going to run to your girlfriends. If you're taking your cues from anywhere except from God, meaning if you can't submit to his order first, if you don't honor the one true God, what would make you honor a man who's full of error and full of frail ways. You won't do it. And so, we've got some work to do. So just breathe easy and take this time to be built. And when you're an asset and no longer a liability, I truly believe without a shadow of a doubt, he will come. So you might want to slowly record and write down those areas, because those areas, they still reflect in my life. And that's why I think lately when a man is attracted to me or come on to me, I've been at peace with, okay, it's not time yet, because you got some work to do. Stop pointing the finger, stop being an accuser, and start being a reflector, a doer of the word, and not an accuser of the word. Not someone that's saying, oh, there's no good men, but in reality, you still using your credit card to pay for everything you own. In reality, you still taking from Paul to pay Peter. So if you're not able to be an asset, then God's plan can't be carried out effectively in that man's life, because he's going to be so stressed from what you don't bring to the table. He's going to spend so much time trying to make up for what you don't bring to the table. He's going to be losing valuable time and precious nuggets and moments of what he's supposed to be assigned and carrying out to be. So when I thought about it, and it said, thinking about a worker, when you work for the kingdom, you're supposed to work in excellence. You're supposed to be an excellent and faithful steward. So don't gasp at serving and obeying. Don't trip about that. Instead, take this time and do you, boo-boo. Get it right and get it tight. And I guarantee you, because I'm walking by faith and I'm believing it, I want you to believe with me. He's coming. We just have to do what we're supposed to do so we can be in position. Because if God sends him to us right now, what good would it be if, God sends him to us, right? He has a vision, but we don't have the funds. We don't have the skill set. We don't have the attitude. We don't have the position. We don't have the life, the understanding, the patience. Because to be with a true man of excellence, you're going to have patience, because he's full of error too. And so I'm not saying you got to wait until you're perfect to be married, because that's unrealistic. But what I am saying is, if you are more of a liability than you are an asset, then you need to just breathe easy and trust the journey with God. Trust it and just rest in it and breathe easy on it. Because if you do it now, you're going to mess up. And I'm telling you, because I've cried many a nights not understanding the ways of God. But now I have more insight and more understanding. And I want you to take the time to get an insight and understanding and get with me on this, so that we as women can build each other up, so that we can be submitted first to God. And then we can be the queens that we're predestined to be for the men that God sends our way. Because I want to be ready. I don't want another brother in my life, whether it's a white brother or a black brother. I don't want another brother in my life if I'm going to do more harm and damage than I am good. Because that's not just that man's life you're playing with. You're playing with the plans of God. You're playing with the will of God. And God's not mocked. Whatever you sow, that shall you reap. So if you're experiencing bad relationships, you need to take some accountability and be real and be truthful about it, and see where you fall short and just do what's right. All right, guys. That's my alarm. That's my alarm. So until next time, deuces. Love ya. Subscribe. Bye.